Right, hello everyone, welcome back to Technique Tuesday for another week. So, had a question come through where somebody was asking me if there is something they can do to stretch their wrists out or try and reduce wrist pain, because they get a little bit of pain in their wrist, especially when they're doing things, say like front squat, or they're doing a barbell press. Now, number one thing that I'm just going to go through when it comes to stuff like this, it comes to pain, it comes to technique work, we do need sometimes specifics when we're talking about what you want to achieve, because the pain might not necessarily be caused for the same reason as what it is with everybody else. If it's a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of tightness, you know, your extensors are tight or whatever the case might be, then what I'm going to go through today is I'm going to go through quite a quick little warm-up that we do that you can do, which is going to kind of stretch out everything around the forearms. But if there is pain, pain is always an indicator to stop, and pain would be a point where you would probably want to talk to someone to find out what the root underlying cause is. So this is not a one-size-fits-all. When we're talking about problems and issues around movement, around pain, we definitely want to look at specifics more than anything else. So, but for this wrist warm-up, this is a nice one just to add into your arsenal for those of you that maybe do a little bit of Olympic weightlifting or do a lot of barbell work from that, especially from the front rack position. So, all we're going to do, this is all on the floor. First thing you want to do, so step one is probably take off any watches that you've got on. So if you've got a smartwatch or something, you can go and get rid of that. That wasn't a smartwatch, otherwise it's not going to be so smart by the end of this. But first thing we're going to do, just going to jump on all fours. We're going to have our hands underneath our shoulders. And what we want to try and do is stretch our fingers out nice and wide. So splay our fingers out as hard as we can. Heel of the hand on the ground, get those elbows locked out. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and turn the pit of my elbow in and out. So I'm rotating from my wrist on the floor. I'm going to do 10 to 20 times with that. And then from there, when I move on, after I've done that 10 to 20 times, I'm going to move on to my second movement. I'm going to try and keep those fingers nice and wide as I do this, and I'm going to try and turn, and ideally I want to try and get my index finger pointed back towards my quad. I'm going to do that on both sides. I'm going to try and get my hands back underneath my shoulders, keep those elbows locked out, and then I'm just going to rock back and forwards. Okay, nice and light, trying to make sure that we keep those elbows locked as we go through. Then from there, once we've done that, we'll do 10 to 20 times there. Then from there, we're going to do this next one. Now, the next one for a lot of people is quite hard. You can leave this out, but this is one which is going to stretch the front of your forearm, which for a lot of people is quite hard. Now, what I'm doing is I'm placing the back of my hands on the ground. Now, if you can't get your elbows locked out and you're like this when you do it, all I would recommend is doing, say, a 20 to 30 second hold and just kind of breathing into it, trying to increase that range of motion. If you can get your elbows locked out, what you can do is you can just add a little bit of movement to it. Don't wrist lock yourself. You're going to end up with jacked up wrists when you're trying to avoid that. But if you can, just 10 to 20 nice light movements, getting that nice stretch out through the front there. Then from there, we're going to have our fingers pointing outwards, again trying to get them nice and wide, heel of the hand on the ground, just rocking from side to side, 10 times each side. And then finishing off, fingers pointing forwards, again, nice and wide, trying to grip the floor with our hands, just back and forwards, elbows locked out, trying to get our shoulders as far over our hands as we can when we do that. So that's a nice little wrist warm-up just to add into your arsenal. If you find that when you're in that front rack position, you know, it might be your forearms that's limiting that range of motion. But as I said at the top, one of the biggest things when it comes to pain or it comes to limitation is you need to work out what the underlying cause is. So we need probably a little bit more specifics. We need videos, we need to see how you move. But that shouldn't stop you from asking questions. If you have any questions, let us know. If you've got something that you want us to go through, comment below, drop us a line, send us an email, send us a text message. If you enjoyed what you see, make sure you like and share it with your friends. Thanks for another week. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.